Good morning. The Louise T. Archer Artist in Residence program brings a nationally recognized artist to St. Mary's each year to work directly with students through workshops, classes, demonstrations, and master classes. The residency is made possible by the generosity of alumna Louise T. Archer class of 1940. I am pleased to announce that the 2025-26 Louise T. Archer Artist in Residence is theater artist Olivia Bernabe. Olivia graduated from St. Mary's in 2015. After receiving a BA in Performance Arts from Sarah Lawrence College, Olivia moved to Brooklyn, where she currently resides. She fell into puppetry in 2021 with the Smack Dab Show, an SEL, an academic-based musical TV show for young audiences, in which Olivia puppeteered Coral, a sweet and mischievous purple puppet. With this newfound love of puppetry, Olivia worked on a variety of developmental puppetry projects at La Mama Experimental Theater Club, Here Art Center, and Dixon Place, eventually leading to their off-Broadway debut in 2023, the Eric Carle Story Show, a puppetry show based on the beautiful artwork of the famed children's author. In 2024, Olivia continued her off-Broadway journey with Rockefeller Productions' 10th anniversary of the Very Hungry Caterpillar Show, in which she got to perform at the Duke Theater right in the heart of Times Square. During the summer of 2025, Olivia had the honor of performing as a special guest star, the only human role in Sesame Street the Musical at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., in which she got to sing with everyone's favorite Muppets. Olivia's most recent credit is Anne Anita in the hit new musical satire Slam Frank, whose developmental run spanned several months and has received much acclaim from the New York Times, the New Yorker, Variety, the Times, and more, with the New York Times naming it one of the best comedies of 2025. Olivia is currently recording for the upcoming Slam Frank cast album and will be reprising the role of Anne later this year. Now, I know Olivia as a very shy fifth grader who did every play here at St. Mary's with me, and it has been one of the great things of my life to see her grow up and be the person that she is. Please help me welcome Olivia Bernabe.
Hello. I'm so excited. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me here today. Just a point of reference, you're probably gonna hear some things like repeated a few times because this is my bio, but like the extended version. So here we go, thank you. My name is Olivia Bernabe, and I am an actor and puppeteer in Brooklyn, New York. I am also an alum of St. Mary's, and I began my artistic journey right here at the Buckman. So it feels very full circle coming back to speak with you all about the work that I do. When I was first asked to be this year's Artist in Residence, I was honored, but I also felt like an imposter. The question, what do I have to offer, repeated itself over and over in my mind. But after musing on the past 14 years of my life, I found myself thinking about all the work I have done. Whoa. Oh, it's double-sided. To get to where I am today. I love what I do, and even though my artistic journey has not been easy, it rarely ever is, it has been worth it. So as I share with you a few lessons that I have learned along my journey, I would like to ask you all, what do you love? Lesson number 1. Rejection is redirection. I fell in love with performing at a young age, and that love was nurtured by Jenny Madden, my drama director from 5th grade, all the way through senior year. As a freshman in high school, I didn't know that pursuing a career in theater was an actual possibility for me. I thought, do I have what it takes to be a professional actor? But with each St. Mary's theater production, my passion grew, and I knew it was what I wanted to do with my life. By the time senior year came around, and with the encouragement and support of Mrs. Madden, I sent in self-tapes to several musical theater and acting conservatories. In January of that year, I had been called back to audition for these schools in person. I flew to New York City, audition materials in hand and shaking with anxiety. As much as I had practiced, my nerves got the better of me, and suffice it to say, I did not get into any of the programs. With a slightly bruised ego, I turned to the 3 schools on my list that did not require auditions to be admitted. Even though Sarah Lawrence College was technically a safety school, it was actually the one that I had fallen in love with during my first SMS college tour. I quickly realized it was the best school I could have gone to. It has an excellent theater program, and because it isn't a conservatory, I didn't have to stick to just one aspect of theater. I got to explore stage managing, tech, devising, and writing. I also met so many wonderful people who I am still close with today, including a mentor who connected me to my current voice teacher and helped me land my first professional puppetry gig. So again, rejection is redirection. Trust that when plans don't work out the way you hoped, it is because there is a better path waiting for you. Lesson number 2, say yes to new experiences. In January of 2021, my college mentor had recommended me to a friend of his who was developing a puppetry-based musical talk show for young audiences called The Smack Dab Show, and was looking for a co-host, someone who could sing, act, and puppeteer. I had confidence in my ability to sing and act, but I had never done puppetry before. I actually didn't even have a puppet to audition with, so you can imagine how surprised I was when I booked the role. Upon asking the creator of the show why he cast someone with no prior puppetry experience, he shared that my acting and vocal talent, as well as my personality and presence, were intangible assets that are not easily taught, whereas puppetry is a skill that could be, quote, learned quickly. Now let me be clear, puppetry is one of the most challenging and physically demanding art forms I have ever experienced. At the time, I had no idea how much stamina, athleticism, and fine motor skills were required. There were days in rehearsal and on set that I would get frustrated and overwhelmed, and I found myself asking a familiar question: do I have what it takes to do this professionally? My puppetry director on set was so kind and patient. She gave me a solid foundation of technique, coaching me throughout the entire process and cheering me on when I felt I wasn't good enough. I was not the best when I first started, but I worked hard, and I soon found that this new skill I acquired proved to be highly valuable. Before I had even finished filming the Smack Dab Show, a domino effect occurred. My producers were referring me to other creatives who hired me for their own puppetry projects, leading me to perform at some of New York City's most well-known experimental theaters, such as La Mama, Here Art Center, and Dixon Place. Puppetry was opening doors for me that I never would have expected, the least of which being an off-Broadway show. So, say yes to new experiences. Even if you aren't perfect, keep going. You never know where it might lead. Lesson number 3, kindness and collaboration will take you very far. In the summer of 2023, I was cast by Rockefeller Productions in the Eric Carle Story Show, a delightful new puppetry show for young audiences based on a collection of several Eric Carle storybooks. I was beyond excited, as this was my first off-Broadway show, and I got to work with over 50 beautifully handmade puppets that looked just like Eric Carle's illustrations. The following year, I was asked back by the company to perform in their 10th anniversary production of The Very Hungry Caterpillar. I was thrilled to be hired again, because it meant that the work I had put in during the previous show was paying off. Upon the closing of Hungry Caterpillar, I found out that Rockefeller would be remounting their production of Sesame Street the Musical in the summer of 2025, and I leapt at the opportunity to audition. I had wanted to play the role of the special guest star, the only human role, since I first saw the show back in 2023. I knew this was a job I could do well, and considering the rapport I had built with the company, I felt I had a good chance at being cast. After a 2-month-long audition process and obsessively checking my email, I received the offer. I remember seeing it in my inbox, and I started jumping up and down, shouting to my roommate that I was going to be singing and dancing with Elmo at the Kennedy Center. It was the most joyful, uplifting show I have ever been a part of. Not only because I got to do what most people only dream about, performing with some of Jim Henson's most beloved characters in a historic venue, but because I had the honor of performing alongside some of the most talented and kind human beings I have ever met. Their ability as puppeteers remains unmatched in my eyes, and the love they have shown me is some of the greatest I have ever known. Working with Rockefeller has proven to me that if you have a smart work ethic, are a willing collaborator, and act with kindness toward your fellow castmates and production team, you will get asked back. These qualities will continue to keep the door open for you, and they are often more important than talent alone. Lesson number 4, be bold. Take risks. Last winter, my roommate sent me one of the most unhinged TikTok videos I had ever seen. In it, a man named Andrew Fox was playing a lively montuno while explaining that he was the creator of Slam Frank, a brand new Anne Frank hip-hop musical. Yes. Neither of us could tell whether it was a very dedicated commitment to the bit or if it was real. I scrolled through countless comments, trying to figure it out, and came to my own conclusion that it had to be satire. Several weeks later, I was on a casting website looking for auditions, and I saw a casting notice for Slam Frank, stating that the show was seeking a Latinx singer and actor with excellent rapping skills. I couldn't believe it. I called my roommate while she was at work, and the first thing she said to me was, "You're going to get it." I didn't want to get my hopes up, but I thought, I have nothing to lose. Over the following week, I prepared the audition materials, and the night before filming my self-tape, I had an idea of how to end my video. I won't share what that is right now, but it was bold. Too bold, I feared, but I trusted my instinct and took a risk. 2 days later, I received a call back. I was on tour with the Very Hungry Caterpillar on the day of my callback, so I performed 2 shows in the morning to 1,700 children, and then immediately after, I ran downstairs to the dressing room, did my vocal warm-up, and got on a Zoom call with the producers of this very real musical. I was buzzing when the Zoom ended. To be honest, I thought I had completely flubbed the callback. An echo sounded. Do I have what it takes? The next morning, I received a phone call. We'd like for you to be our Anne. The producer told me it was a unanimous decision and that they loved the choice I made at the end of my first audition video. So, because I took a risk, I stood apart from hundreds of other people and booked the biggest role of my career thus far. I think that is why I was drawn to Slam Frank in the first place, because it dares to be bold. It is subversive and irreverent, nuanced and clever. It dares to hold up a mirror, revealing difficult truths about the world we live in today. And at a time like this, when many of us are scared and angry at the state of our nation, it is of the utmost importance to use our voices to make art that challenges the status quo and urges us to engage in critical thinking. Slam Frank allows me to do what I love while standing up for what I believe in, and I can't think of a more St. Mary's ideal than that. My artistic journey has been nothing short of a roller coaster. I have ridden the highs and lows, celebrated my successes, and heavily doubted my abilities. The question of, do I have what it takes, still creeps up from time to time. But through writing this chapel speech, I have realized that having what it takes is not strictly about talent, but the commitment I have made to myself in pursuit of what I love. It is the hours I spend honing my vocal technique, It is the monotony of doing self-tapes, and it is the support I give to and receive from my creative community. No matter what you do in life, whether you're a theater maker or a doctor, a football coach or a physicist, know that if you are willing to put in the effort, you too have what it takes. Because doing what you love is always worth the risk. Thank you.